What up, y'all? This is ASTRODIM here, doing the new moon reading. New moon in Pisces. Ow. This is going to be an interesting ass new moon. A new moon that extremely promotes healing, y'all. Okay? Pisces is kind of a healing type of vibe anyways, but like these aspects, goodness gracious, it's wild. And then like, you know, I pre-recorded my daily moon horoscope readings or whatever, and it's just this whole week is promoting healing, especially towards the later end of the week. And I really suggest you guys listen out for my daily horoscope readings, because it's going to really give you an idea of what's going on, because I know for sure that people are going to be feeling crazy as fuck with the changing energies of Uranus moving into Taurus. We're still dealing with Chiron moving into Aries. I know it happened already, but just the energies of it shifting from a critical degree to a regular degree. And then fucking Mercury retrograde. Then this new moon energy. So it's a lot going on. You know, there's a lot going on, and it's just, I just really hope that you guys get a chance this week. And this is why I like really wanted to push releasing this today on the 3rd, so you have the full week of like dealing, like kind of understanding this new moon energy to realize some of your self-undoings and self-sabotaging ways, how you are not holding yourself accountable for certain things, how you're institutionalizing yourself and not even realizing it, mind, body, and spirit. And then the thing is, it's not to release these things, because, you know, our time to do that is Virgo season when it's Pisces full moon, but to ask for things that will help us fix this. It's kind of similar to the Chiron energy of being a wounded healer. We still want that wound for the reminder of what happened and what can happen, but we want to heal it and heal others from that wound. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think it's just a prominent time, a very important time. It's the last new moon of this astrological year, so we really have to wrap things up technically for 2018, and 2019 kind of is starting March 20th during the spring equinox. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, it's just interesting because it just reminds me of full moon energy, this new moon energy. But instead of releasing, we're bringing forward the things that we want to fix within ourselves, and then like literally trying to heal it, not release it, but heal it and bring it back in, so we can be sort of like a wounded healer. It's just really interesting energies for sure. You know what I mean? Anywho, sorry if you hear a noise in the background, by the way. I'm kind of stuck. This new moon's happening March 6, 2019 at around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a little bit before, but it's around that time, right? It's going to be at 15 degrees Pisces, 15 degrees 47 minutes, okay? So, you know, I always look at the degrees and pay attention to that beyond the decans, just a number, right? So 15, of course, reduces to 6. And 6, when you think about like numerology and even with tarot, right? More with tarot than anything. It's about reflection, not forgetting where you came from, giving back. Even like if we kind of use some of the water energy of Pisces, the 6 of Cups is the soulmate card, you know? But it also represents victory, success, finally getting recognition that's deserved, confidence. It's sort of even like a rite of passage, but also about releasing baggage. But the important part about this sort of releasing baggage you're not releasing it, you're bringing it forward and realizing it, realizing baggage, which is going to be tough because it is a Pisces new moon. Pisces new moon sometimes have a hard time with facing reality, Pisces energy in general, because honestly, what is reality, right? But the best way to say it is Pisces have a hard time facing the 3D life or 3D reality or the 3D realm, right? And so what we need to do is kind of be careful with the delusional part of Pisces energy, but use this intuition side of Pisces to figure out ways on how to help our self-undoing and help our self-sabotaging ways and heal these energies. You get what I'm saying? But when I kind of look at like the water side of the 6 card, it's reflecting on past situations, past emotions, and thinking about it, even things that were connected to your past life even. And that's why it's kind of connected to the soulmate card, right? So that's something kind of special. I know I'm having a special kind of connection with this new moon, with my chart. So it's just really cool. I'm actually excited for this new moon, and I'm excited to kind of like do the healing that I need to do, right? Very, very cool. Now, new moons in general. I like to tell everyone what new moons mean in general, just in case you're a new listener, right? A new moon is basically when the sun and the moon is in the same exact degree. That's why I said the new moon's at 15 degrees, 47 minutes of Pisces, right? Now, they're not probably blocking each other like a solar eclipse, right? But they're in the same vicinity. One may be higher than the other. So and then the shadow kind of is created on the moon, so we can barely see the moon, you know what I mean? But it's kind of like, during that time when the sun and the moon is in the same exact degree, same exact spot, from our view, okay? And what's great about this is wonderful time for bringing in good things that we want in our life, making intentions to bring into our life, because the moon represents emotions and the sun represents our identity and how we react to things. And so what we feel is like, and how we react to things is kind of on the same level. You know what I mean? We feel one way, and so we react to it. We totally identify with our emotions. And because we're so balanced during new moons, it's a great time to set new intentions, because not only are 2 light luminaries are right on top of each other, and so it's creating this great time for you to manifest, because both of these energies are together and very powerful. But how it's kind of reacting to us, our emotions and our reactions and identity are aligned, and so we have kind of like a clearer view of how we should kind of treat Pisces season, or whatever season the new moon is in, right? So we have a clearer view on how we should treat this season, and what should we do in this season, and so we can make the proper new moon intentions to bring positivity to our lives, according to the sign the new moon is in. Do you get what I'm saying? So again, both our emotional and reactionary selves are aligned, and we have a clearer mind, a clearer view on what we actually need in life, according to what season we're in. You know what I mean? So it's really, really important. Now, particularly, what does this new moon mean? Now, this moon, I can't even talk. This new moon is in Pisces, right? It's in Pisces, and Pisces represents a lot of things. It represents spirituality and the unknown and stuff like that, right? But it's also connected to, personally, our self-undoings and self-sabotaging ways, and how we institutionalize ourselves without even realizing it. What about ourselves do we not realize that's literally causing us some hindrance? That's not having us grow spiritually, or just grow in general. You know what I mean? And what we need to do to kind of fix this thing. Pisces also is connected to self-doubt and delusions. Pisces is, honestly, to me, represents one of our God-given gifts that we have a whole bunch of self-doubt about, that we don't even realize we have this much self-doubt about, right? And it's causing delusions, and it's causing our self-undoing because we don't realize how powerful this gift we have. How powerful is this gift that we actually have? That is, again, God-given. It's God-given, like, hello, right? And so that's where the delusions come in, because you have this doubt on this gift, and so you are not pushing forward, and you're creating your own self-undoing, you know? So it's deep. It's very interesting energies. Pisces definitely is connected to spirituality, intuition, the unknown, how the spiritual and astral and etheric realm is, and how it's connected to Earth, and the things that are just out of this world, beyond out of this world, astrologically, astronomically, but we're talking about out of this world in a spiritual sense. Aquarius is out of this world and literally out of this world, like not on Earth, on a different planet, while Pisces is more out of this world in a different realm, in a different, in heaven, or in a spiritual world, whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean? And so with this new moon, our emotional selves and our reactionary selves are aligned to do this healing, to realize our self-undoings and self-sabotaging ways, and to actually be open intuitively to hear what our guides and God has to say about these self-undoings and self-sabotaging ways, and what we need to do to fix them, to heal them, what we need to bring into to ourselves, so we can kind of heal this thing and move forward and be able to grow in a spiritual sense. You know what I mean? So, this is what is very, very important in this new moon. Okay, realizing what you're doing to block yourselves from certain things. And so, like, for instance, right? Say someone has this new moon conjunct their Mars, right? You are going to have a lot of realizations on how, this, what is blocking you from being as motivated and driven as you want to be. You know what I mean? Like, are you having certain blockages and you're not working as hard, you're not as disciplined, you're not taking as much action as you feel like you should? Or are you doing that and you're more on the 7 of Pentacles and the 8 of Pentacles? Like, you're working hard, not many results, and you're not working smart like the 8 of Pentacles. You know what I mean? Like, it's time for you to kind of reflect on the actions that you take, and the drive and your motivation and what you're doing in that sense, and you're getting kind of like messages on how to fix that, and what you need to bring into your life to fix it. You get what I'm saying? That's just an example. I know people that have Pisces Mars are like, yes, I got a little reading. But it's just think of it like that. And if you're interested in a reading, of course you can holler at me and get one of the readings from me or whatever. But yeah, that's kind of like what you have over there. Now, this new moon specifically is in the second decan of Pisces, right? And the second decan of course, all of Pisces is ruled by Neptune, but its second decan is ruled by Cancer. So it's, this new moon is ruled by Neptune and co-ruled by the moon. I didn't mean to say Cancer, I meant to say the moon, sorry. So with this energy, this is really, really like heavy. Not heavy in a bad sense, but heavy in a like, oh my gosh. I kind of talked about this on my Twitter. This new moon is going to be so extraordinary because, the moon is our direct emotions, right? how we feel about certain things, right? I'll say Pluto is more about our emotions based off of intimacy, based off another thing. So it's kind of like you feeding off emotions with another being or another person, right? But intimately, like a closer connection, right? So for instance, like I feel a certain way generally, but when I'm with my in a karmic relationship with this person, we feel in a different type of way about each other, and it bounces off. Like that's more of the like Pluto, Scorpio, 8th house type of energy, type of feelings. And then Pisces is more of the empathic type of emotion. You literally feeling other people's emotions, other beings' emotions, just in general. Places, plants, animals' emotions. You're just really empathic. You feel others' emotions, right? Which that's all about. We are in Pisces season, so this is like real to us, right? But remember how I said in the moon is like what we feel directly, right? How I just naturally react to things, to just the everyday 3D life, how I specifically react to that myself, right? Because this is like Pisces energy, right? We're still being very empathic, but the thing is that we are actualizing these emotions and making it, and it's kind of like we're feeling it we're feeling it directly, in a sense of like we are picking up other emotions and maybe even getting it confused that there are emotions. So I feel like second decade Pisces energy can definitely get like maybe not more of the delusion than most Pisces, but maybe, you know what I mean? Like, because again, like this decade is also ruled by the moon, and so I can see there being a confusion where you're being empathic and picking other people's emotions, but also confusing it as yours because it's the moon connected to that specific decade of Pisces. You know what I mean? And so there might be some delusion during this new moon, but there also could be you just having the opportunity to truly feel what these other energies are really feeling, and being able to kind of understand the emotions at a deeper level. You know what I mean? It's kind of like prime intuition time. You know what I mean? Because like we are really picking up these intuitive energies and feeling them personally. That's the best way to say it. There you go. We're picking up these empathic energies and feeling them personally. Now, of course, high vibrational people or people just with more experience, more mastery when it comes to intuition, they're gonna know what's happening. But a lot of the general public may be confused and may be picking up energies and confusing it as their own and feeling a little crazy, a little loopy. And again, like you have to just remember, like, okay, this is telling me something about my self-undoing. This is a mirroring situation about my emotions. This is telling me something about my self-sabotaging ways. I can't freak out that much. I just have to I have to just like let the situation happen. Let myself feel. I have to let myself be free. Allow myself to be vulnerable. You know what I mean? Just trust. Allow myself to be vulnerable and trust, trust to express your emotions how you want to express them, but also you have to keep other people in mind too, So you don't want to be a dick just to be a dick just because you're feeling a certain way and you're being empathic and picking up shit, you have to also just like allow, kind of, again, use that Cancer energy, or the moon energy. The moon is all about, yes, your emotions, but feeling your emotions privately. If you're really on some crazy emotional wave, like lock yourself in the room and feel. Okay? Of course, be careful with that. I don't want you to, if this is aspecting your planets in a tough way, your natal planets, and you need somebody, definitely, have people there to help you, because you have to remember Cancer is about family and people within your private life, people that you trust with your private life, But if you feel like you can, allow yourself to feel these emotions personally by yourself. But you can do it with other people too, honestly. Just to be, whatever. But what's tricky about this decade, though, having a new moon in this decade, is that we are empathically picking up these energies and these feelings, these emotions and intuition, and we are feeling them personally. So people may be, especially with this Mercury retrograde, people may be feeling personally attacked like a motherfucker. People may be feeling other people's happiness and joy personally. It's just emotions are on high because we're feeling these energies directly. Now, because we're feeling these energies directly, I feel like, we have to just be careful because we can create our own illusions and disillusions with that. So just be careful with that. If the new moon was in Neptune, I'll be like, the Neptune decan, excuse me. I would say this is time where we are actually like seeing shit. You know what I mean? Like literally seeing spirits and all that shit. And if the new moon was in the third decan, I would be saying something like, we're getting kind of like this connection, a deeper connection with, say, people or entities that we have a deep intimacy with. But here we're like just using this time to like pick up empathic energies and taking them personally, so we can actually take our self-undoing and self-sabotaging ways healing process more seriously. You know what I mean? We have to take these self-undoings more seriously so we can go ahead and heal, because as a collective, we need to hurry up and fucking move on up to the east side. The deluxe apartment in the sky. Like, I feel like, it could be because I'm in America, but I feel like just overall the world is just so backwards. And we should be way ahead than where we are. Of course, people say it's divine timing and we're at this position and we're at this situation for a reason. Maybe. I think we could do better, honestly. So I feel like we have this, a lot of people I know are feeling this kind of sense of urgency for the collective to get it the fuck together. I really feel that. But it could be also because of this Pisces stellium, you know what I mean? Speaking of Neptune, though, Neptune is conjunct this new moon, which is going to make the delusions even more crazy, so please be careful. But it's going to make this energy even more stronger when it comes to you realizing your self-undoings and self-sabotaging ways. Please be careful. Neptune likes to play tricks. It's all about delusions, right? They like to play tricks. They think it's funny. They just want you to realize that, what is reality. That's what this new moon is really going to teach you. Like, what is reality? It's what you make it. It's kind of like even going to teach you some major manifestation lessons too. But obviously with this new moon, it's going to be kind of similar to a first decade new moon. I think there's going to be some possibilities of you still seeing spirits and seeing shit, but you may be seeing spirits and seeing shit, and like your intuition is going to be crazy, like your clairaudience, your clairsentience, your claircognizance is going to be wilding during this new moon. And I think, but it's going to be extremely personal. So instead of just seeing some regular old spirit, you may see like your great grandmother, an ancestor, someone that you love who passed, like some crazy shit, and they're going to be telling you stuff like, yo, bitch, you need to get better at this. Yo, you can do better. So just be aware of that. Shit's gonna get real personal, real spiritual, and real personal. Okay, so I want y'all to prepare for this. All right, and to make sure you take this opportunity to learn these lessons, and kind of like realize your self-undoings. And again, don't release them, because I think what this new moon is telling you is to not release your self-undoings and self-sabotaging ways, but to learn from them, kind of face them, and so you can realize, okay, I need to fix this, I need to fix that, I need to fix this, I need to fix that. You get what I'm saying? That's what I'm really, really feeling. Okay? So let's talk about these aspects now that are happening, because I was just talking about Neptune too. So let's talk about these aspects that are happening. After I talk about the aspects, I'm going to cut it off because that's just for the general reading, you know. But for my Patreon motherfuckers, my patrons, y'all will be getting a little bit more, and I'll explain that later, okay? All right. Like I said before, with the new moon conjunct Neptune, it's beautiful energies, it's beautiful timing, because remember how I said that our emotional self and our reactionary self are aligned? Just a clear channeling energy with the new moon. We're very aligned as a collective. With Neptune conjunct this energy, right? I feel like even though possibilities of disillusionment could be very strong, could be very personal, that we're going to have, believe it or not, because we're so channeled and so aligned, that even though the delusions could be wild, the energy could be wild, the imagination could be wild, we'll still be somewhat grounded because of this new moon, because we're so aligned, and we kind of get this purpose. Because we understand the purpose emotionally, and we identify with the purpose. And so that's the thing that's grounding us. But with that being said, we are being allowed to go wild in the etheric realm, in the astral realm, in our imagination. Because we kind of know where we know what we're doing. We're aligned emotionally, and we're identifying with our emotions. So that's dope, because we're just such a clear channel with the new moon, with Neptune conjuncting this so closely, right? We, for this month, definitely, and is potent as shit for this week, and we're going to be feeling it very poignantly on the 6th, right? We are going to have just be a very, very clear channel when it comes to our personal self-undoings, our personal self-sabotaging ways, what we are doing to hold ourselves back spiritually. We're going to learn some things about the unknown that is going to help us, and it may be confusing as hell. Like, I can definitely see people picking up energies and picking up things that is going to happen like 60 years from now, and we're like, I don't understand what this freaking means, but you'll get it eventually. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna get these clear messages, these clear energies, these clear messages. It's the best way to say it. You're just gonna get these clear messages on what you need to do to improve yourself, where you can be when you can improve yourself, where you can be if you don't improve yourself, and you're just gonna be faced with your self-undoings, so you can find ways on how to heal them. Okay? And so I definitely suggest people to allow themselves to feel, allow themselves to pick up these intuitive energies, allow themselves to imagine, allow themselves to dream. I definitely suggest you guys to journal. Definitely journal during this week. Literally start in the night of the 3rd, and end. You can end until the next full moon, or the next month. Just journal your dreams, but definitely journal your dreams this week, because I feel like we're channeling so much intuitive energies that's helping us with our growth beyond just our earthly growth. I'm talking about our spiritual growth. This is Pisces energy. This is Neptune energy. This is beyond this fucking just this little peon of a lifetime. This is beyond it. This is like some soul shit. Okay, so it's really important for us to feel and to surrender to our emotions, like a Pisces do. Okay, to surrender our emotions so we can pick up these intuitions and intuitive energies. But it's also very important for us to not, be delusional within these situations. And it's going to be easy for that to happen. I mean, Mercury is retrograde, for Christ's sake, right? Like, our logical thoughts are not in tune right now. We're very confused. We're miscommunicating things greatly. And plus, like, Mercury is in Pisces, and there's nothing wrong with Mercury in Pisces, folks, at all. But since Mercury is in Pisces, we are communicating based off of channeling, based off of empathicness, and not based off of what's reality and what we perceive as reality. You know what I mean? And so things are just not going to make sense, because we're literally picking up things from a different dimension, from a different realm, and trying to let it make sense here, when we can't even conceptualize the shit in this realm, in 3D. You know what I mean? And so that's where the delusion comes from. It's not really wrong. It's not truly delusion, honestly. It's more illusion. It's more like, it is what it is there, but it ain't what it is here. Because we can't even get it here. You know what I mean? So it's just going to be a wild moment. I definitely suggest you journal and all that, right? Because I think it's going to be really, really important for you to look back at the things that you're journaling. Look back, whether it's your dreams, whether it's just this week or this month. Look back at these things when Mercury is not only direct, but not even in a shadow period anymore. I want you to look at all those notes for this week or this month like when Mercury is like well out of its shadow period, and see what's going on, and if things made sense. You know, I think that's going to really help us. I really do. I think it's really going to help us for sure. That being said, though, y'all, I don't know why, but I feel like, okay, never mind. I was gonna see where Juno is, because I've been noticed like a lot of people been having love issues, and specifically with people that they want to spend the rest of their life with. And I wanted to see if there was any connections with that, but I think Juno is not even aspecting this new moon. I think it's an early Gemini, and then with Juno it's an asteroid, so we can't give it the same amount of orb space as other planets. The very most you can give, I feel like, is like possibly 4, but I don't even like giving 4. I think 2 is enough. 3 might be even pushing it. But yeah, I think Juno is actually not making an aspect to that, so never mind. But I can say that we have other aspects happening that's pretty important too. Okay? So let's talk about those two. I'm done with Neptune. Just know you're getting channeled energies, channeled information, and it's going to be clear yet confusing at the same time. It's going to be like it's going to be clear in the sense of like you're going to see what you see is going to be like there's going to be no doubt in that you've seen or experienced or heard the things that you've seen, experienced, or heard, okay, or felt. But what it means is going to be the confusing part, I believe. It could be. You're going to have to just trust yourself intuitively and don't trust your logic that much at this time, at least. At the very least during the new moon, specifically like on the 6th. Your logic's not going to be on point. Mercury's retrograde, and you know, like, it's just time for you to really surrender to your emotions and surrender to the other realms, and pick up the energies that you need to pick up, and pick up the info that you need to pick up, so you can go and bring it down and let it and have it make sense kind of later on. You know, it's not going to make logical sense until after this retrograde's done, honestly. You're going to have to really intuitively pick this shit up. And that's just what it is. Okay? That's just what it is. So, yeah. Just letting y'all know. Okay? You know, you have to think about it. New moon in Pisces. Neptune's in Pisces. Neptune also represents Pisces. Mercury, Pisces, that's for our logic, that's how our mind processes, and it's retrograde at 29 degrees. Like, we're lost, guys. Logically, we're lost. Like, don't even try to understand shit logically. You have to do it intuitively, you know. And don't tell me I don't got no intuition. Everyone has intuition, boo. You just have to trust it. That's what I mean by surrender. You have to trust your intuition, okay? All right. Anyways, the new moon is sextile Mars. That's nice. And it's really good, actually, because Mars represents the actions that we take, right? It represents our motivation and drive. And so Mars, specifically in Taurus, you know, the collective at this time, they're very practical on how they move, or we're going to be very practical on how we move, you know what I mean? And we're going to kind of stick and be stubborn, like stick to the process, stick to what we got to do, to kind of make things actualize, to make things tangible, to make things real. Now, remember, we're exploring what's quote unquote unreal. We're exploring things that are beyond the 3D reality, earthly reality at this moment during this new moon energy conjuncting Neptune in Pisces. Like, you know, like we're kind of going towards the unknown. And so what's dope about this energy is that, like, Taurus is fixed. And so no matter how unrealistic, no matter how dreamy, no matter how delusional this may seem, you know, we are going to be so determined to have an understanding of what this thing is and to kind of make it into reality, that we're not, you know, we're just not going to stop. And that's great, because even though I did suggest that, hey, we shouldn't make sense of this until later on, until after Mercury is direct and out of retrograde and not even in the shadow period, this determination of trying to make this real is important, because again, during this explorative or spiritually explorative time, we are picking up messages on how to improve ourselves, mind, body, and spirit. And so while we're like doing that or whatever, you know, this is like mutable energy, you know? Sorry, this is mutable energy. So it's often like we can often forget, or we can often feel and like let go, like, and totally pick up messages that are really, really important and like just drop it and forget it and like, oh, that was just the experience of that time. Mars and Taurus is kind of like, no, we're not letting go of that experience. We need to take action on you know, improving ourselves, mind, body, and spirit. We need to stick to it and take action and push forward. The only thing that's stopping us a little bit is that there's going to be a great sense of frustration during the retrograde period, because again, retrograde is not the best time to take action, because logically things don't make sense, and practically things are not going to be coming together, because we're learning how to improve our communication and our thought process and our logic, and we're learning how to improve how we take how we kind of like dissect things and make sense of things in a practical sense, and how we move forward and take actions in certain ways. So, you know, taking action and making moves is going to be very, very difficult because of that Mercury retrograde. But because this is such a poignant and important new moon, even after the retrograde, I feel like we're still going to be pushing forward, trying to make sense of the energies that we picked up from this new moon, and trying to take actions so we can actually improve ourselves collectively, and just prove ourselves individually, not even collectively, but individually. But since all of us are going to be doing it individually, it's going to seem like the collective is doing it together. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's dope. That's going to be really, really dope energy. I like it. I really do. The new moon is going to be trine North Node. How cute. So, North Node, of course, is kind of like when it's transit North Node, it's not really about life purpose, but it's about like what the collective needs to like focus on and learn about during this particular time, during this next like year and a half span, and what's going to be like a super prominent prominent area of our life during the next year and a half or 2 years. I think that's the North Node's transit for each sign. And so the collective really needs to learn about being nurturing, being loving, expressing our emotions, allowing ourselves to feel in our private, comfortable settings. But definitely kind of like expressing our emotions and allowing ourselves to feel, and kind of being about family too. Because this new moon is going to help us lead into that, believe it or not, some of the individual messages that you're going to be picking up is going to be pushing you to feel a little bit more. It's going to be pushing you to take your emotions a little bit more seriously, especially because this new moon is in the moon decant of Pisces too, and so this is going to reiterate the kind of like seriousness or the how personal these messages are going to be. You know what I mean? Personal in the sense of that, like, it's personal to us right now, and it will evoke some emotion within us right now, not evoke some emotion within us later on in the game. You know what I mean? But definitely during this new moon, we're going to pick up messages on how to be a little bit more nurturing, how we should be within the next 2.5 years. And the message that we're specifically going to pick up is how to be nurturing, specifically at the spot North Node is in our natal charts. Okay, so for me, for instance, this North Node is in my 6th house, so I'm learning a little bit more about being nurturing to myself and to others in an everyday routine basis. I'm going to be picking up messages with that, and I'm actually already picking up shit today about that, honestly. So it already makes sense to me, so that's kind of like the vibe that we're getting from there. So it's pretty cool. The energy is not going to be that strong with that aspect because it is about like 10 degrees away from North Node. With the luminaries, I get a 10-degree orb. So especially something that's prominent as a new moon. But it's still going to be something that you feel faintly, or feel just in general, So keep your eyes open for that. This new moon is also going to be square Jupiter. How annoying. Again, logic's out the motherfucking dough. Okay? First of all, Jupiter expands, adds abundance, and just gives a lot of wherever it touches, right? And so this imagination, this illusions, this intuition, these emotions are going to be grand, okay? So grand that we're going to feel like we're going fucking crazy, okay? Because it's going to be just a truly out of body, out of this world experience. Jupiter is making it really harsh. Because again, Jupiter is squaring this energy, so we're going to be feeling very uncomfortable. Again, like I mentioned before, we're going to be experiencing things that are super duper uncomfortable personally, right? And it's not going to be like something bad's going to happen or nothing, but it's going to kind of be like things are so out of this world and so unexplainable, or inexplainable, that it's just going to make us feel like we're going crazy. Okay, and Jupiter again represents philosophies, beliefs, religions, cultures. There's not going to be no damn philosophy, no damn concept, no damn culture that's going to explain the fucking shit or phenomenon we're going to be experiencing during this time. Okay, and this is actually pushing us to not look at what someone else is saying, to realize that salvation is personal. Right? I love that saying, y'all. That salvation is personal, and we're going to need to figure out our self-undoing and self-sabotaging ways by ourselves spiritually, intuitively, on our own, not by looking what other people say. Now, I'm not saying that other philosophies, beliefs, and religions are not important. Of course they are. They can lead us to our own self-discovery. But at this time, we need to not look at what other people are saying, what other, what these other learnings are talking about. Like, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be really relishing in this moment and finding what's going to be personally helpful for us. Okay? And some people, what's going to be very, very important for us in our spiritual growth is going to be very important to the universal unconsciousness growth. But I really feel like, even though the Pisces energy kind of represents the universal unconscious, it represents our place within the universal unconscious. So it's still personal. You know what I mean? So just to let you know, there's no nan concept, no nan philosophy is going to help us in this situation. We just got to, again, surrender, be vulnerable, and feel. Trust in the universe. Pick up the necessary emotions and intuitions and messages that you're getting from your guides and God. Ask for protection, of course. Especially with that moon energy that I was saying before, with the new Pisces being in the moon decant and all. I feel like there might be possibilities of possessions. And then the possessions may not. I mean, first of all, I personally don't like possessions. I think that's not cool. Being possessed is not a good thing. Like, that's very invasive. But that sometimes not bad energies are trying to possess you. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's good energies trying to do it. Like, literally, when people are saying like, oh, an angel kind of went through somebody to help save somebody else, that's still a way of possession. You know what I mean? But just like, that's why I say to make sure you protect yourself during this week, because especially on the day of the full moon, because that possession energy is strong as fuck. Okay? So while you're kind of going through this spiritual discovery, sage then Florida water, or sage then incense, like frankincense or something. Be sure you do sage, but you like spray shit. That's because I always tell people, I actually just told this YouTuber that I like, but I tell a lot of people this. Sage is like a spiritual antibiotic or energetic antibiotic. It wipes out everything. Okay. And after you like have the antibiotic, you take probiotics, right? A probiotic would be frankincense or Florida water or some type of incense that brings in positive good energies. So you need to kind of do both, okay? So good energies only are around you. So if you happen to have to be possessed, then at least it's fucking an angel or someone who's nice or something, instead of like some psycho energy. All right? So yeah, that's that, okay? This new moon is going to be sextile Saturn too, which is great. I'm going to be talking about that Mars and Saturn shit too, by the way, a little bit later. With this energy sextile and Saturn, we are learning like a sort of like a sense of authority through these lessons, through this new moon. When we realize our self-undoing and self-sabotaging ways, we are allowing ourselves to have some authority, not only in our life that we're living at this moment in the 3D realm, but we're having a sense of authority in the spiritual realm too, because knowledge is power, right? Knowledge is power. So these messages that we are getting is knowledge about our personal experiences and what we need to do to kind of grow spiritually. So, I'll even include that with this energy sextile and Pluto, because Pluto is all about self-empowerment, right? Pluto is all about connecting intimately with something to get some empowerment, to get some shared worth. So even if we include Pluto in here, right? So Saturn's kind of like, you having some authority and control over the situation because you have knowledge. Pluto is saying, you kind of intimately connecting with someone and building this shared worth, and having this shared worth will give you this power and give you a sense of self-empowerment, just because you've got backup, and you got the knowledge that, and you got that Saturn energy of just feeling like you have control and authority over your own life, but in the 3D realm and in the spiritual realm. You get what I'm saying? So, what Pluto kind of comes along is that you're creating this intimacy. This intimacy could be with your higher self, could be with God, could be with your ancestor who's giving you these messages on how to kind of get out. Earth is like the get out situation, honestly. It is. And so, people are trying to give you these messages, your guide, your spiritual cheerleaders. And this energy is kind of promoting this empowered, and feeling empowered and feeling like or having some authority and control. So again, because these energies in Capricorn, so we can get the status and reputation that we want in the earthly realm and in the spiritual realm. You get what I'm saying? So it's very, very important for us to, again, allow ourselves to pick up the necessary messages for us to spiritually grow mind, body, spirit, even grow in the earthly realm too. Okay? All right. So I'm going to end this here for the general public. I talked about this on my Twitter, and I'm going to get real specific with it here. But there's this aspect pattern called the talent triangle happening. And it's going to be happening. I'm not actually, I'm not even going to tell y'all what the talent triangle is going to be happening, like what planets are involved. Just know that the new moon's involved in it. Okay. But there's going to be an aspect pattern called the talent triangle. And, this aspect pattern, the apex of this aspect pattern is the new moon. Okay. And this is going to be very important for us. And it's going to really help us realize the abilities that we have. Remember how I was telling y'all about the God-given gift? It's really going to help us with that, okay? So I'm going to be talking with that with my Patreon folks, my patrons on Patreon. I'm going to be talking about the fixed stars that this new moon is aspected. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about how the new moon will generally affect you based on what house it is in your chart. Okay? So I'm going to pause this right here. And I'm going to go and speak deeply with my patron folks. Okay? All right. I hope you guys like this. And much love to you. Okay? Happy new moon. Peace.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.